a game that I am really looking forward to. And we've got a new video with which is going to feature Todd D'Arcy, who is the solo developer of Falling Frontier, and we're going to react to that video and listen to what Todd here has to say. This is a video that was released for Gamescom, and this was done in partnership with the IGN trailer. So here we go. Let's listen to Todd and let's discover again Falling Frontier.
Hey there, my name's Todd D'Arcy. I'm the solo developer at Starter Fox Studios.
Yep. He is alone developing all of that. It took him several years, and this is just amazing that just one man developed all this game. And I'm really wishing all the best to Todd D'Arcy here, because he's been working so hard for all these years. He's made so many sacrifices. If he can make a living with that game and then create his own studio, hire more people, then all the best for him, and he would really deserve it if the game is good enough and if the game is as good as it looks. But so far, I gotta say that with everything I've seen, I have been very impressed. This looks like Star Citizen, but RTS. See what I mean? This is crazy.
And for the past 3 years, I've been working on a game called
3 years.
Frontier. It's a sci-fi.
Now look at that. So we got lots of different types of information and all the crew inside. I like that. I like the design as well. It looks very clean and not cheesy, right? It looks very, very serious as well. I like the fact that to be immersed. I don't know what you guys think, but for me, in order to be immersed, I gotta be looking at things that ought to be as realistic as possible and not too over the top, not too flashy, right? Hey, there he is in the chat right here. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have Todd D'Arcy himself, the solo developer of Falling Frontier, in the chat right here. So feel free to ask him any questions. Let's continue. So Todd is here also in the chat, so that's absolutely wonderful. But let's continue and let's keep on watching what this trailer is.
A game that just mixes the close action of naval combat as well as the grand scale of building throughout a star system.
Now that's something. It's something that originally I had. That was like at the beginning. I had a problem with. At the beginning, there's like, oh, there's only one star system. Is it gonna be a little bit too crowded? But it is a star system that is going to be. I don't. Todd, maybe you're going to be able to answer that to us. Is the star system like 1-to-1 full scale, or did you have to cramp it a little bit? But look at that. That is just one planet with moons. With moons around it, and you can have several planets around the star system. You can edit your star system as well. You can add I don't know how many planets you can add. Maybe Todd will be able to tell us in the chat as well. But you can add a lot of planets as well. And I suppose that the more entities you put in that star system, the busier you're gonna get. And in the end, I think that one star system that you can edit, and the fact that you can edit that star system and create put as many different planets and moons as you want is going to be the replayability that eventually I'm looking for in those type of games. So that's why I don't have a problem anymore with the game being such a one-star system, because of the replayability that would be available to us, and the fact that in just one-star system there's already going to be so much to do.
It focuses heavily on line of sight mechanics.
Look at that, guys.
And really visceral combat systems that are layered upon each other. So you'll see projectiles bouncing off of ships, penetrating the whole way through.
Okay, so Todd says it's not one-to-one scales because it wouldn't look nice aesthetically speaking, and everything being still. Oh yeah, I get it. Of course, of course. But I mean, it already looks pretty nice. I think that this is already a good scale here, and those design decisions so far look absolutely fantastic.
Oxygen venting out the other side.
Well, let's listen again, because
projectiles bouncing off of ships, penetrating the whole way through. Oxygen venting out the other side.
Now this is crazy. It is going to go as far as when projectiles penetrate the hull of ships, the oxygen of the ships is going to vent out and the crew is going to die. This is such a ridiculous amount of immersion, but that is fantastic. That is simulation. That's why this game is so promising. It's amazing.
You'll see crew trying to get out, and you'll see these really large explosions, and the ships just get torn apart by physics, and they go everywhere.
Yeah, let's have a look at those explosions again. This is something that something that Todd will be talking about later in the video. Those blue fireballs that you have now in a lot of sci-fi games, right? Air venting out is just a visual. Oh, okay. Well, it's still, nevertheless, even if it's just visual, it's still quite impressive that it's actually there, right? And with air venting out, are we gonna see, like, is there gonna be data about the crew dying off, or are there gonna be escape pods? Maybe it's something that maybe I'm asking too much, right? But it's something that would be very interesting to see for sure. There's technical things like float proposition that needs to be worked out around physics engines. All right, so okay, never mind.
And the ships just get torn apart by physics, and they go everywhere. It's fantastic to watch.
It is fantastic to watch.
There's a whole bunch of celestial bodies and a whole range of other places to explore. Like
same here. Originally, I wasn't a big fan of nebulae being around planets, but in the end, of course, you know that nebulae are very large celestial bodies, right? That shouldn't be inside the star system. But in the end, they gotta make design choices of the reality versus the fidelity of reality versus the fun factor. Gotta remember that it's a game, and maybe you don't want to have everything looking pitch black. So that's why I understand that. I mean, let's face it, it also looks very cool to have those gas clouds around certain parts of the map, and that's also something that we are getting here.
Like a nebula, ships travel faster than light. They have to jump between points, and they consume fuel. Crew have to eat, so they consume food, and of course ships spend munitions whenever they fire. So
now that's something that Todd is talking about here, that's really interesting, and that I find really appealing as well, is that in so many games you have the units that you are using, and that's basically it. You gather your resources so that you can spend resources building units, and then that's it. You're using your units to do some combat. Here in Falling Frontier, not only you're going to have to do that, but your crew needs to eat. Your ship need to get some fuel. If you don't have the resources to maintain your units, then your units are not going to be functional, which is going to add extra depth to all to all your plan, to all of your gameplay that you're gonna have with this game, and that is quite unique. I don't know any other game that requires you to do that, but it's also going to. And that's what I said at the beginning. I thought, oh yeah, it's only one star system, but in that one system, you have so much to do, including making sure they got enough supplies for your fleet to be operating. That is crazy.
There's all of these,
but it's crazy good.
Considerations to actually think about when you're actually playing the game. So it's got a lot of the classic things that you would find in a normal RTS, like base building.
There we go. You can gonna not just base building. You're building your star bases, your actual stations. So that is so fantastic. Now, since Todd, I have a question for you, Todd. Are there going to be like actual modules when you are going to build those stations? When we are going to build those stations in space out there, is it gonna be like with predefined patterns, or are we going to add modules together in order to get the station that we would need or want? That's also something I'd like to know. Hey Randy, how's it going? Thank you so much for the kind words here. Il Professor says that you can wait or can't wait. He says he's excited. I know, right? It is an exciting game for sure out there. So that it looks to be military shipyards here. Yeah, me too, Shadow Rise. That's something I'm always interested in logistics, right? Sometimes the logistics is even more exciting than the finality itself, like combat, right? So Todd says that stations are a single object but have module points for upgrades. Can't say more than that. All right, Todd. I guess that we will see I will see for ourselves.
But it also borrows different elements from the 4X genre, such as ship design, and you can actually come into this ship editor and you can change the different types of weapons that you put on a ship. These all
Something that we can see in other games. I don't know if you guys are familiar with games like old games like Imperium Galactica. We were able to do that more recently. Galactic Civilizations was another of these games. I think that Stellaris also allows us to do that too. So it totally makes sense. And it's also going to be allowing us to... Sure, the design of the ships there are not a lot of different types of hulls. But at the same time... because we'll be able to modify the hard points of the ships, even if there aren't a lot of different types of hulls, we'll still be able to specialize our ship and have a certain type of variety based on all of these different modifications. But Todd, I have another question here. I know that you are alone developing this game. How long did it take for you to design a ship and put it in the game? This must have taken a long time. I think I suppose that this is the reason why we don't have a lot of hull types in the game, because you're just one man and there's only so much you can do. But how long did it take for you to design a ship and put it in the game? That's really a question that I have here, that I'm interested in. And are there going to be any chances of seeing more ship hulls in the future, maybe as DLCs or paid DLC? As far as I'm concerned, that's totally something that I would be interested in and that I would pay for if I like the game. I like to spend money in DLCs in games that I like, but I don't know. I don't know if maybe the people in the chat will be telling us if this is also something that they do, or you're right, that's not a good game, that's not a good practice. I don't know what they're gonna say, but as far as I'm concerned, this is something that I like to do. And if Todd can answer this question, that would be fantastic. Yeah, Danny, right? You want a fleet of railgun capital ships, says Shadow Rise. I think it's possible to. It will be possible to do that, right? Because there you go, Mark II railgun. There are gonna be railguns right there, right? Let's keep on going.
all get unlocked via research, and you can just have these custom configurations to just really suit your actual purposes for your flotillas.
Yeah, what I like is all the details at such close range. The ships look so good. This is not something that you would see, in an RTS game. When you look up close at the units, they look so dull because they want to focus on performance instead of the game being the good looking. Age of Empires 4 being a good example of that. This game looks fantastic from far up, but also from a human perspective too, right? Todd did answer the question. So, the art asset in Final Frontier are a combination of licensed, self-made, and kit bash of both. So, to implement a ship from start to finish takes about 1 to 2 weeks. Oh, okay. So it's not that long actually. And he is aiming for around 20 different chassis. Oh, well, 20 is pretty much okay for a game that you are making solo, right? All right, but it's not 20 chassis is. So you're aiming for 20 chassis at launch, or is it something that you're aiming for in the future that's going to come up with DLCs? Something that's really something that I'd like to know. But I really appreciate the answers, by the way.
You've also got ship in Eternals as well. So every ship has a bridge, crew quarters, jump drive, engine, stuff like that. And again, you can unlock different components and apply these to every ship just to have a really unique customized flotilla.
Oh, so 20 chassis at version 1.
Add special abilities like the ability to lay a minefield, or perhaps attach a ship to maybe the underside of an asteroid, so it can lay in wait and perhaps do a bit of an ambush or perhaps do a bit of recon. There's
That
really
is
a whole
awesome.
bunch of different options, and it's just really exciting just to have all of these things jammed into sort of an old school RTS. As
Yeah, it's not just old school RTS. It's revolutionary. I've never seen that in any other RTS game. There's something that I saw here. Let's go back a little bit before. There we go. These are the different internal components. So got jump drive, obviously. Here you got the crew quarters here, housing for the crew. They're not really giving much details about how much crew is going to be, and also bridge, which is also going to be including medical facilities. So I know, right? It's very impressive indeed. Right? It's very impressive indeed. 60 works. The 60 hours per week, man. That is a lot of man hours for Todd here working on this game.
into sort of an old school RTS. As well, you've got crew, so you've got
Now this is very interesting here. They got a crew selection, so you'll be able to also choose your captain and all of the other people that are going to be working here. Now, I suppose, now Todd, that's something that I have another question here. All these people that we're seeing here, are they going to have their own stats, or are these just names that we're putting in the ship, right? I suppose, and if they do have stats, are they going to be able to level up in the future with extra experience as they fly and as they engage in combat or other activities? Also, where did you get those pictures? Are these also are these people you know, or did you also acquire the pictures via a bank of portraits? Just as I'm asking those questions because I suppose that there will be people who'll be interested also to figure out how can you manage to get all of those assets as a solo game developer, right? This is Final Frontier, Abraham Noor, and hopefully, I hope it's coming this year. But it's a game that I've been following for quite a while, and that I'm going to talk more and more on this channel.
both enlisted and also command crew. So command crew are really important. They are physical objects on the actual ships, so they can be killed, injured, and they can also be upgraded too. So
all right, well, there's the answer right here. It is going. They can be killed, injured, or upgraded. There we go. Max Power says he wants his face in there. Yeah, right. I want my face too. I want the Eradicator to be a crew member.
they can learn perks and skills that will enhance the ships.
Oh, the portraits are created by an AI algorithm. That is so interesting. It's licensed, but created by an AI. That is dope indeed, says Alan. Yep.
And here we've got a ship just jumping into
Oh, look at those
combat
particle
area.
effects. This is so cool.
As mentioned previously, they are physicalized objects, so they're going to push through different asteroids. Projectiles will bounce off of
Do you
space
see how that
stations and
flash here?
ships. Some will penetrate through and cause internal damage. Ships can be disabled or they can be destroyed depending upon what kind of damage they actually take. So
It's okay. Todd D'Arcy, ladies and gentlemen, was here. Lead developer, sole developer of Falling Frontier. He has to go, but thank you so much for coming here, Todd, and answering those questions. I really appreciate, and I can tell you here that I really appreciate what you are doing with this game, and I'm definitely going to be grabbing this game day one. I'll be live streaming it, and I'll be spreading the word. Thank you so much again, Todd, and have a great day. But we aren't done. We still need to finish watching that video out there.
you'll see ships just starting to lose control and just sort of list away into the distance. You'll see crew trying to actually just escape, which can be captured.
Look at that. We could see the air here venting out of the ship.
If it's an enemy crew, or they can be rescued if they're friendly crew. In the event that you capture crew, then they can be interrogated, and perhaps you can find out some different bits of information.
That is awesome. Do you hear that? We can actually... This is ridiculous. So we can disable a ship, capture the ship and the crew so that we can interrogate them and get information on the whereabouts of the enemy. How cool is that?
About your opponent's ship movements, or perhaps there are actual installations.
Look at that explosion there as well.
So we can see this
game is
space station
so
that's
good
just
looking.
been destroyed. You need a classic blue light for a big explosion. It's almost a requirement for
You
a
get
science
all the
fiction.
debris here,
And you just see this
staying
hulking
around.
mass just on fire with smoke and flames going everywhere. So yeah, that just kind of sums up what Falling Frontier is, just this visceral space combat experience. Thank you for taking the time to check this out, and yeah, just look forward to seeing you in game. Thank you.
This game is absolutely awesome, or at least it looks awesome. Coming up, I don't know, hopefully this year, right? But it's obviously Todd is a one-man person working on this game, so you know. Game design always involves delay. It is published by Hooded Horse and available on Steam if you want to wish list it, which is definitely in my wish list. And a shout out to Dr. Forbin, Tella, and Eric O for their generous contributions on Patreon. Thank you very much. This video is brought to you by the people who support this channel on Patreon and via the join button as well. Supporters of the channel get access to lots of cool perks, such as access to my private Discord, your question answered in the show, you get to know when I'm going to play, and also you get to have a chance to influence the editorial line of the channel. Any help is appreciated, starts at just $1 a month. Thank you very much for watching. This is The Eradicator, and I'll see you guys later.